Hello and welcome back to Bookish, and welcome to a discussion of three authors whose works I really like. The inspiration for this video came as I was reading The Plague of Doves by Louise Erdrich and desperately trying to get this book finished before the end of the year. I have a feeling I'll fail, but I am holding my top 10 books of the year video until I finish it, just in case it makes its way into the top 10. And it does have a chance because I do enjoy Louise Erdrich's books and her writing and her story, so it does have a chance to make that list. But in reading Erdrich and reflecting while I was reading, it occurred to me something that may be obvious to you, and that is that there's a real connection between Louise Erdrich's books and the way she writes, the things she writes about, and other authors, which if you follow my channel at all by now, I love, and that would be Balzac and Faulkner. And so it occurred to me that here's another type of book that I like, and another type of author that I like. And so I just thought I would do a video and kind of talk about what I see in common, which I don't think is all that revelatory, and then kind of why I think that makes these authors so good. Now, of the three, Erdrich is the one I've read the least. But I do plan on continuing to correct that as I go through next year. So I just want to kind of talk about what these authors have in common, and if you haven't read any of them or one of them or something like that, maybe this will make connections for you and make you want to go on and read some of the others. So one of the things that Balzac, Faulkner, and Erdrich all have in common is that they all write and set a lot of their stories, if not, almost all of their stories, in a specific geographical location. For Balzac, that's Paris of the early 19th century. For Faulkner, it's his fictitious county, Yoknapatawpha County in northern Mississippi, sometime between the end of the Civil War and the 1940s or 50s. And for Erdrich, it is I think it's the Turtle Creek Reservation in North Dakota, even though I believe she's fictionalized that place to a certain extent. And her stories then would be set anywhere from all across time up to the present day among the Native American people of that reservation. Erdrich is herself a member of the Chippewa Nation, which is Anishinaabe and Ojibwa nations. I believe those are all related, or those may be three, one may be a subset of the others. And that's what her characters, that's who a lot of her characters are, and that's what she writes about, and that's where her stories are set. So all three have this specific geographical location. They all have repeating characters who appear in major and minor roles across many of their books, so that you're liable to run into a character in a Balzac novel and think to yourself, I recognize the name Rastignac. Isn't that someone we've met before? And for certain it is. And you'll run across the name Snopes in the works of Faulkner, in all kinds of short stories and novels of William Faulkner. You'll find the name Snopes, and you'll find the names of Erdrich's characters being repeated across stories as well. As a matter of fact, I believe the first, is it 3 to 5 of Erdrich's novels are all kind of related and all center around one family. And a character, kind of a patriarch of the family who's referred to as Nanapush, shows up in several of her novels. So they all have these characters who show up in these places then that are very familiar. Third thing they have all in common is they all give really specific details about the culture in which their characters live and the places where they live. You can learn a tremendous amount about social mores and values and style and just all kinds of things, and class issues in Paris in the early to mid 19th century. From reading Balzac, you could find out a tremendous amount about life in the South and changing ideas and values in the South after the Civil War, and kind of the collapse of the Old South idea and the emerging ideas of civil rights and the desperation on the part of white Southerners to hold on to their power and their position and their past glory. And in Erdrich's book, you get this kind of cross-cultural world in which the Native American population of the tribe faces influences and threats sometimes from white settler culture that exists around their reservation, sometimes preys on the people of the reservation one or more way. You get characters who are in fact, part Native American and part white settler populations, and that kind of cultural conflict plays, or that kind of cultural mix plays a large role in kind of the plot of our stories and understanding the characters and why they're motivated to do what they do. Social values, religious values, change. All three authors then are dealing with social and cultural changes. Balzac with kind of the cultural changes that come with the rise of moneyed people and the decline of traditional aristocracy. As I mentioned, Faulkner with the decline of the Old South. Erdrich with this kind of increasing encroachment of white society on the native peoples on that reservation. And so you get kind of the same kind of society in flux, society involved in change in all three of those novels. And so what then to me you get from that is that you are immersed in a world which feels very real, and you're immersed in that world not just for one novel but over several novels. And by continually returning to this place, and sometimes same characters in different situations, in different circumstances, and kind of highlighting different cultural things, you learn a tremendous amount about that place, about those people, and it feels very real. As a reader, those places feel real, and those characters feel real, and the issues that they're facing feel real. They have an immediacy to them about them, which I think is unique to authors whose books follow this pattern, this geographic, cultural, repeating characters pattern. And as such, I think then what you get on the whole is kind of what Balzac was up to when he decided to write this mass work called The Human Comedy, is you get a glimpse into humanity. And into humanity in all its good and all its evil and all its foibles and weaknesses and strengths and nobility are all on display. In some are all the characters, and none of these authors pulls punches. None of them, creates purely heroic characters. All of them have characters who make moral compromises and do the wrong things, and sometimes pay the price, and sometimes don't. And so I just wanted to, real quickly make this video because I had this kind of light bulb moment today while reading Erdrich, that there was this connection between all their books. And, as I sometimes do on my Thursday videos, I just thought I would make a video talking about that and sharing it. And then I also noticed today that Amy from the Dusty Bookshelf had published a video today or yesterday about why she's reading Balzac. She bought a really beautiful 25-volume edition of The Human Comedy by Balzac, and she has made plans to read that, and she read some of it last year, and she made a video about Balzac and why she wants to read it, which I'll leave a link to below. And so my video felt kind of connected to that. It reminded me that Terri B and Britta Bohler had a project to read all of Louise Erdrich's novels this year. So I'll leave a link to their channels and maybe to some of their specific videos about that down below. And then, of course, if you follow my channel, you know that I and Alan from Big Hard Books and Classics every summer in August we read a Faulkner novel and talk about it. And this year we were lucky enough to be joined by several people, including Roz from Scallydandling about the books, but also Una and Crypto joined us, and their channel at Codex Cantina, they do a lot of Faulkner. In the past, they've done a lot of readings of Faulkner's short stories and novels, and so I'll leave a link to their channel down below. So anyway, there you go. For whatever that was worth, I wanted to make this kind of video in which I was talking about these three authors I love and creating those connections between them. Speeder, and then to a certain extent why I love their work so much. Anyway, I look forward to your comments in the comment section below, and as always, thank you for watching.